So bad news, we lost a chunk of this review, so we've thrown together some bullshit just to get it done right now.
Viewer beware after dark.
Welcome to my bedroom. Yes, I'm a child. No, you're not allowed to talk about it. How much did we lose?
We lost most of our analysis of A Night in Terror Tower. I would just say, let's just talk about the book again. TV adaptation's still in there.
Sweet. So we're just going to talk about the book.
Yeah, we need to give a little introduction. Let's say our spiel.
So we need to do our initial thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I would say new development. After we finished this review, my partner immediately wanted to read the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Finished it in a day and called it a masterpiece.
Oh, God.
Did not want to pick up this one.
Terror Tower is one of the most okay books we've read so far. It should have been a slam dunk. It wasn't. I'm trying to not say stuff that I say in Cuckoo. We should never lose footage again.
No.
Terror Tower's okay. I think I maybe read a little bit of it when I was a kid. It's one of the most recognizable books. The original cover even looks very similar to this. I have no idea if you can see that or not. But yeah, it's like, it's alright. It should have been better, but it's alright.
It's interesting how both of these books took the same concept and just ran in completely different directions with it.
Yeah, it's weird having time travel books back to back. Spoiler, these books are about time travel.
Yeah. You cannot predict where this book goes.
No, but in saying that, because of that, the whole first half of the book feels like you have no idea what the fuck is going on. It's just so confusing, the whole fucking first half of the book. And then you realise what's happening and you're waiting for the characters to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then the book ends and you're like, wow.
It's a bit of a rushed resolution, but that's nothing new.
Yeah, you get the obvious twist with like 5 chapters until the end, and then you go, well, okay, Stine, you better start making quick pace, bro.
Yeah, get into it.
Yeah. Okay. Sue and Eddie, they are on holiday in London. It's another holiday book. I liked holiday books that have a very good track record of being good, but I liked them as a concept for Goosebumps. So they're on holiday in London. Their parents are in some big business meetings at their hotel. So Sue and Eddie just get to they just get to fuck around and do whatever they want. You know, tourists in London. So they go on this bus tour that takes them to a place called Terror Tower. Now, in Terror Tower, they learn about the history of the tower. The tour guide is really eccentric. And there's, like, people who are, like, paid to be, like, extras. Like, people trained up to the walls and be like, ooh, sometimes they're, like, animatronics, whatever. But this tower was built in ye old medieval times. And fucking, some evil king took over or something, and the tower basically turned into like a torture dungeon, basically. And the most notable thing that happened there was right at the top of Terror Tower. There's a room where there was a prince and a princess called Edward and Susanna. And I only know that because you had to correct me in the last take that we don't have. And that's
you
where...
said Edwin, didn't you?
I said, yeah, Edwin or something. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So the prince and the princess were up in that tower. Their uncle had come to power, and he wanted to eliminate the bloodline.
It's very Shakespeare.
Very Shakespeare. So the two were murdered in the tower. Basically, was the story. And then Ed and Sue were just like, oh wow, don't think about it. And while they're on this tour, there's this shadowy black figure that kind of hangs to the back of the group, following them. And they're like, oh boy, that's really weird. And while looking around in here, important detail for later. Sue's like, got my camera on me. I want to take a photo of this cool thing. Pats her pockets. She goes, where's my camera? And then Ed goes, he. The fucking fastest hands in the West strikes again. So he's a little pickpocket. That's his quirky personality trait. He's really good at stealing shit.
You get one per book.
You get one. And Sue, her personality trait is that she's the big sister protagonist. So the shadowy black figure catches up to the kids. They're all alone. They've been separated from their group. And the shadowy figure, he's just like, you're coming with me. And he grabs Eddie. And he pulls out these white stones in his pocket. He's like, now how did it go? How did it go? And he's playing with the stones. He's trying to do something. And the kids break away. And they start running away. And and they're running around in the tower. They eventually find their ways down into like the sewer or something, and the shadowy man finds them down there again, and he's like, "Boy, give them back, boy." And Sue's like, "What are you doing, Eddie?" And he goes, "Oh," and he gives the guy back the stones, and he's like, "You're not gonna escape me again." And he tries doing the thing with the stones again, and the kids slip away, and they get back up to the service, and the tour group's gone, and it's nighttime. And, like, the night security guard, he's just like, "They tried waiting around for you, but you were fucking nowhere to be seen. They went back into town. I'll call you a cab." And they get in the cab, and they go back to London. And they're like, "We just got to go into the hotel and talk to our parents and figure out what's happening." So they get off at the hotel, and the cabbie's just like, "Pay up. Money, 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 money." So Sue goes, "Okay, hang on, I've got some gold coins here." She goes to hand him the coin. And he looks at it and he goes, "I don't want your funny money. I don't want your fucking fake money." Somebody forgot to put his phone on silent. And I also don't know where it is. "I don't want your fake money. Where's your real money?" And she goes, "Why would my parents give me fake money? That's so weird. That's stupid." So they kind of go, "Okay, well, look, we'll run inside to the hotel. We'll find our parents. And then we'll bring them back down and they'll pay you." And the guy goes, "Okay, but you got 5 minutes before I go in there to get you." So they run inside, and they go to the concierge desk, and they try going up to their fucking hotel room, and the door's locked, they don't have a key. Luckily, there's a lady walking past who works at the hotel, and she lets them in. They go in, and the hotel room is empty. Empty hotel room. And they go, "That's weird, that's our hotel room." Run back down to the entrance, and they're like, "Hey, can you call our parents, please? They're in the big meeting, the big meeting that's happening here. Can you get them to come out and help us?" And the guy's going through his files, and he's like, "I'm sorry, there's no meeting booked in for here today. What did you say your name was? What was your last name?" And Sue just goes, "Eddie, what's our last name?" And they can't remember their last name. And at this point, it starts to go a little bit what the fuck. And the solution at this point is, don't worry about it, you're probably tired and stressed, go sit down and have some morning tea in the fucking bistro or whatever. And, when you remember, we'll look them up again. So they go and they sit down, they have some morning tea. They laugh at British people for having something called morning tea. And then the cabbie walks in, and he wants his money, and he's looking for the kids. So they sneak away. Fuck off. The shadowy man finds them again, and he grabs them, and he fiddles with their stones, and something happens, and they run away from him again. And then when they go back into the hotel room, they go back into where there should be people. It's like a ye old tavern. People like eating meat off the bone and drinking and everything. And she walks up and she goes, "Hello, can anyone help me find something like my parents?" And they just look at her and they're like, "What are you doing here? You should not be here." And she gets chased out and she walks outside and it's like she's back in time. She's in ye olde London. It's dirt road, horses, peasants. And there's the shadowy guy approaching, riding a horse. So she's running away. She's trying to get away from him. She hides in a peasant woman's house. And she's like, you need to help me. You need to help me hide." And the peasant lady's like, "Oh my god, I cannot go against the Lord High Executioner. I cannot do this." And Sue just goes, I'll give you everything that I have." And she pulls out her pocket with the gold coins. And the peasant lady's like, "You can hide down here." She's just got so much fucking money. And so Sue hides in like a basket somewhere. The Lord High Executioner comes in, and the lady goes, "She's in there, my lord." And she gets her reward. She looks at Sue and she's just like, "Sorry, kid." So Lord High Executioner carries Sue away. He's already got Eddie. So they're going back to Terror Tower. And they're back up the top of Terror Tower now. They're in the same tower that the prince and princess were executed in all those years ago. Don't think about it. And then the magician, the royal magician, arrives. Don't say Merlin, shut up.
Mordred?
Is his name Mordred?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Very close to Merlin. And he's like, "I'm so sorry, Edward and Susanna."
It's interesting you mentioned Merlin, because Mordred reminded me of Morgred, which is the guy that kills King Arthur.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I wish I knew more about Arthurian legend.
Play Sonic and the Black Knight.
Aw. Now I don't want to. That feels dirty now. Glossing over that, so he's like, "Edward and Susanna, I'm so sorry, I tried to protect you, but unfortunately the Lord Executioner saw what we were doing, so I couldn't, the plan didn't work." And they go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he goes, "I transported you into the future and I gave you new identities and new memories so that you could live your lives in the future away from this. But he saw what I did, he stole my magical stones, he replicated the time travel spell, and he brought you back here. And they're like, that sounds crazy. Does that explain why I can't remember anything before the start of the book? Does that explain why we don't have parents? Does that explain why I don't remember my last name? And then he, like, touches their foreheads and all their memories come back. And they go, oh, Edward, oh, Susanna, we're so royally fucked. And the wizards, he's just kind of like, sorry, kids, I can't do anything more for you. I really wish I could, but if I do any more, Lord High Execution is going to get me as well. And then, like, I'm not dying. So then he walks out of the room, and the kids are just waiting to get executed. And Susanna's just like, oh my god, what are we going to do? I'm going to die. And Eddie goes, but sis, fastest hands in the West, and he stole the stones back from the wizard. And then Edward goes, now how did that spell go again? And then they're transported back to the future. And they're back in the Terror Tower. It's a good movie. They're back in Terror Tower, and
in present day, because they're already in Terror Tower.
Okay, I'm sorry. They're back in present day with the shitty tour guide. And the tour guide's like, and that, everybody, is the story of the prince and princess. They disappeared one day, and nobody knows what happened to them, but they weren't executed. Important detail that just changed right now.
So with the rules of time travel, the version of Eddie and Sue that were already in the tour guide, do they disappear?
You can bring it up with Stine.
I got a lot of things to bring up with Stine. Yeah. I'll add it to the list.
The last detail from the story is that the wizard made it to the future as well, and he's basically now the kid's father. And that's where the story ends. This book is fine. Yeah. It's a simple story. At one point, I was really excited, thinking, oh no, that was Cuckoo Clock, never mind. Again, this is what happens if we fucking lose footage. I forget what I've already said. But yeah, the story's fine. I can't really fault much of it. The whole first half of it being utterly confusing. I don't know if it was the point, but I didn't particularly... the reveal wasn't good enough for how confused... Like, it was good if that confusing, but it's got to be like a good reveal. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
It's inoffensive.
Yeah.
It's a fine book.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say about it, except that the premise was really interesting, and I wish we did more with it.
Yeah. It's a book that exists and doesn't do a lot with what it is. But there's nothing wrong with it either. It's a fine book. It gets wrapped up a bit too quickly and too easily. Perhaps maybe the easiest out of all of these books so far.
Expiration date?
Okay, but that's like another level of like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
This is just like, oh, thank God you've got that character quirk, Eddie. Without that, we would have died.
I'm imagining like getting through the first draft and then he gets to the end, he's like, fuck, I need to resolve this somehow. Throw in some lines about him being a pickpocket earlier. Done.
Nah, he would have had that figured out. Because he says he likes to figure out his endings. So I think this book actually would have had more thought put into it than the others going into it. But I think the payoff of that is that there's not a lot else.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot putting into this planning, and then there's just the rest of the book.
It happens. Look, let's check our notes.
My phone is somewhere else.
Well, it sucks to suck, eh?
It does. There was the really bad setup and payoff of the scare. I think it was chapter 2, or maybe it was 3 and 4. Chapter 2 ends with Sue taking a picture of Eddie, and then she goes, little did I know, that was the last picture I'd ever take of Eddie. And then at the end of the next chapter is Sue goes, oh no, check my pockets, my camera, it's gone.
I like how the parents are literally nothing in this book, which is how they are, like, metaphorically in most of these books.
That's something we talked about. It's fun having something be this literal, with, like, its meta kind of, like, stuff outside of the page doesn't exist. It's fun seeing that taken to, like, a literal place. It'd be good to see it done in a better book.
Yes, I would prefer the parents just be written out of the Goosebumps books entirely.
Just get rid of them. The grandparents.
Get the weird dad sometimes. I like the weird dad in Monster Blood 2, who's got that whole Spencer from iCarly thing going on.
He really does, yeah.
Keep that shit. I don't want the parents to be like, oh, you're just imagining things, you know?
Yeah. Even make them like that, but then
Yeah.
the flip side is Cuckoo Clock, where the parents
Yeah.
are like villains almost.
There's a bit where they mention that they're from the 21st century, but this book came out in 1995.
Look, again, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
talk to Stine.
Maybe he just rounded up.
Yeah, I don't think he thought about it. He was getting
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, he was preparing.
Yeah.
Maybe he wrote it like 10 years in the future.
He
And
picked
then-
up his stones
yeah.
and he went back in time
Yeah.
and published it. Maybe that's how he got around all of his deadlines. He'd go into the future, write all the books, and then go back in time and release them.
That's perfect. There's a bit where like they're in prison and like Mordred leaves the door open for them. And then they go out, and then Mordred comes back, and he's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I really can't help." Why did you open the door, dickhead?
No, maybe Eddie hadn't stolen the stones at that point. So he had to come back and be like, "Sorry, guys, Eddie's still... Sorry, I really can't help you.
Yeah.
Take the fucking stones. Sorry, guys."
That's definitely what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that was A Night in Terror Tower, and we survived recapping that again.
If we ever lose footage again, I will spend a night in Terror Tower.
I will birth a cactus out of my asshole.
Oh, I've gotten the camera.
TV adaptation! I'm pretty done talking about Night in Terror Tower.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the TV adaptation?
TV time.
And let's just get right back
You
into
can
it.
cut it. Unfortunately, I can't be bothered to fix that anymore.
And we've stopped talking about the book, so it can now just be laid to rest like a corpse.
And that's going to stay in every video from now on.
Yeah.
Alright, the TV adaptation,
Yeah.
it adapted the book.
It's a two-parter, so we get pretty much all of it.
Yeah, they didn't really cut. They added a little bit, which was
Yeah.
good. Because
They had, like,
I
the-
complained earlier that there wasn't really a final confrontation.
Yeah.
They did add one in here, and I thought it was pretty alright.
You were mentioning it was his design's more accurate to the book rather than the cover.
Yes.
Yeah, like the way he's described in the book is
Does not line
more-
up with
yeah.
how he's depicted
Yeah.
on the cover, even in the original. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't look.
Yeah, that's basically how he looks in the original
Yeah,
cover.
yeah, but yeah, that's right. He looks much more like just like the tall, dark, like covered in black figure.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
yeah, that's how he's described in the book.
Mordred's like a ghost in the first part. He's like,
Yeah, when they arrive at the tower,
Yeah.
you can see him like ghostly up, being like, "Don't go in, don't go in." Go back. Oh god.
we've had enough fucking ghost books. Do we have to put ghosts into one that don't have any?
It's not a ghost.
What is it?
That'll literally be the magician.
Yeah, maybe.
It's literally gonna be the magician going, "Sorry, guys."
Any second.
That's enough.
It's like it's like an episode of Scooby-Doo where like they just get to the place
Yeah.
and like the monster's looking from afar like, I'm gonna fuck shit up. The effects of having them in medieval time is hit or miss.
Oh, you can tell they were just filming it on like the same location with
Yeah.
just like walls put up so that you
Yeah.
couldn't see like the actual street.
Effort's been put in, but not enough.
Not enough. As
Yeah.
much as they could afford, again,
Yeah,
because they don't have a lot of
absolutely.
budget.
Absolutely.
But it's just like funny when you notice like the seams, the cracks.
Now, what I wanted to talk about, which was in my notes, I found it weird that the wizard makes the kids American. And they fucking bring it up in the TV adaptation because when they become the prince and princess again, they get British accents.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Now I remember. So do I.
What was that?
They got the accents.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that is right. Oh, so stupid. I guess it was meant
Yeah.
to be his cover-up, so that.
Yeah,
but
like,
it was like
little-
so obvious still.
Little details like that make me think like the Goosebumps TV writers do put some thought into these things.
Yeah, having to like take another look at something that somebody's already done. Stine does not have time for a second draft. He does not. The TV show's a second draft.
Yeah, that's how it is. I don't fucking know. That's it for me.
Yeah, no, they did it. They improved on it in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way that they go back in time, rather than Eddie just having the stones, I think they go into the Lord High Executioner's room.
I think they're about to be executed.
They're proper about to die,
Yeah.
and then they manage like last second to grab the stones off him and do the teleportation. And because they take the stones with them, he can't follow them, and yeah. So I thought that was done pretty well. That's it. Terror Tower was okay. Cuckoo Clock of Doom.
Only wax. Betty.
Should be a Goosebumps book called The Wax Attacks.
Whoa. So do you want to email R.L. Stine or should I?
Now, Cuckoo Clock of Doom. You'd think, looking at the title, looking at the cover, this is a fuck it book. We love the fuck it books. Go
Yeah.
Eat Worms, Why I'm Afraid of Bees, Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. They've all been dreadful,
Yeah.
absolutely awful.
You lost me the further you went on.
Yeah, and like that fucking bird, like look at him, like he's evil.
Yeah.
They want to sell you on like this bird means business. He's coming to fuck shit up. But no, that's not really what the book is about. The book's actually really solid. It's like a cool premise where the enemy is time itself.
Yeah.
Now, one of my big issues with this book, and it's an issue I have with a lot of these books, there's always that annoying little sibling. And that is the whole book.
No, but they make a point of it in this one. So
It's purposeful in this one, so I'm okay with it more so. But it is very much like the forefront of Cuckoo Clock of Doom.
it is like Goosebumps, the book.
Yeah.
Like
It
it's
is
stuff
probably-
that we've seen
yeah.
a million times before, but because it's like pushed so far to the extreme, I'm cool with it.
It is Goosebumps distilled into one of the most interesting premises I think we've had in a Goosebumps books. Yeah,
Probably the most interesting.
Yeah.
As far as a single idea goes, probably the
Yeah.
most interesting.
it's interesting because you'll see what I mean. Where like they take the same concept, but they do wildly different things with it. So Michael is a kid, big surprise. He's got this little sister Tara. Tara's a piece of shit. Tara, one of the big set pieces in this book. Basically, the first 20 pages or so are just Michael selling you on how much Tara is the worst. So he recounts all of these stories. At his birthday, Michael got this cool new bike, and Tara tried it, and it fell down, and it got a scratch. And so
Ruined his shiny brand
Yeah.
new bike.
Yeah.
Worst bitch.
Michael gets mad at Tara, and his parents are like, "Your sister just fell off a bike. She's hurt. Why ain't she concerned about your little sister?" And then at the party, he's got this crush on Mona. And he has his friends here. One of them's named Michael B, which makes me assume that his name is Michael A. And fucking Tara spills the beans, tells Mona that Michael likes her. And then Michael comes out with the cake, and Tara makes him trip. And his face lands right in the cake. Worst birthday ever. He wishes he could go back and fix it. And I'll tell you all these other stories, because why not? There's one where like they're rehearsing for a play, and Michael's putting on like this dinosaur costume, and then Mona and her friend come in, and like Michael's like, "Tara, keep them busy while I'm getting changed."
Yeah.
And then Tara opens the door, and there he is in his
There
underwear.
he is, girls.
Yes. And then there's one time Michael's doing practice with his friends, and there's this one kid who's like the superstar baseball player. And while they're all playing, Tara steals the cap from his bag and puts it in Michael's. So she frames Michael as like, "Oh, I didn't know that was that kid's hat," and then the kid beats the shit out of Michael. I think that sells you on like Tara's the worst.
Yeah.
Their parents are enablers because they're like, "Oh, she's smaller than you, Michael. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be her role model and shit."
Yeah. Long story short, Tara sucks. Parents defend her no matter
Yeah.
what. Pisses Michael off. Yeah.
So his dad gets this cool new cuckoo clock from Anthony's Antiques. He's been begging Anthony for 15 years to get this cuckoo clock because it's so fancy. And he's finally taken the price down because Anthony's found a little
There's a
mistake.
defect,
It's a
yeah.
defect. And he doesn't tell the dad what it is, but then the dad's like, "Hey kids, little fun game for you. Go find that defect. See what you can find." It's like, "But don't touch it. Don't touch it." And Tara, being Tara, is already touching the clock, of course.
Yeah.
And Dad doesn't get mad at her. He's like, "Hey Tara, fuck off.
Yeah.
Get away from that clock. It's my clock."
Sweetie baby girl, please don't. I asked you
Don't
nicely.
touch it.
Michael, don't you fucking touch it.
Michael comes up with this genius idea. I'm gonna frame Tara.
Ugh.
When that cuckoo clock, that little shitty bird comes out, I'm gonna twist its head backwards. So, like, in the middle of the night, he sneaks into the den. It's very important that it's in the den. They keep saying that word.
Yeah.
And he flips the bird's head. And then he wakes up, and he comes downstairs, and he's like, hey, what a beautiful morning. And his mum's like, happy birthday, Michael. It's your 12th. We got a present for you. And then they go to the garage, and he's like, what the fuck's going on? And they show him the bike, and Tara sits on it, falls off it, and gets a scratch. Michael's starting to freak out, of course.
Yeah, he's like, haha, funny joke. It was my birthday last week. What are you doing?
Eventually, he realizes they're not joking. His wish came true. His wish to re-experience the birthday is come true. It's got nothing to do with the fact he turned the cuckoo clock's head backwards. And so he's trying to stop the things happening again. And he fails because he doesn't realize that Tara's under the table. He's looking out for her, but she sneaks up on him.
I like this book, but hearing it all back, I'm just like, oh man, it's so stupid.
It's like time is inevitable. No matter what you do, you can't change it.
Yeah,
it's so
happens.
existential.
Oh, man.
And then it basically just like is Tara's greatest hits. We just keep going backwards, and Michael's trying to convince his family that he's experiencing time backwards.
Yeah, no matter what he does, he can't stop it.
Yeah, he can't get access to the cuckoo clock because now he's at a point in time where the cuckoo clock hasn't arrived at his house yet. It's still at Anthony's Antiques.
Yeah.
And there's this one scene where they're having dinner. It's like, okay, Michael, we'll confess, we're in a time warp. And they start pretending that they're going backwards.
They start talking backwards like that episode of Red Dwarf.
And try to understand it. Feel it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And they laugh at him and they go, ha ha ha, idiot.
It's that classic where it's like, this thing's happening. Oh, Michael, stop. And eventually it gets to the point where he's like in the 3rd grade and like his friends are learning these big words like, oh my god, how many letters are there in grandmother? And it's just like little cute little scenes like that I kind of like. It gets to the point where Tara's a baby, and Tara's still like a piece of shit to him.
Yeah,
like,
even when
kicking
she's
him.
a proper...
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's every time he goes to sleep and wakes up again, the leaps backwards get bigger.
Yes.
Bigger and bigger and bigger. So it goes from like a week to a month to a year to...
And I really wanted a scene where the mum was pregnant with Tara, and as a fetus, Tara still managed to fuck something up.
Come feel my stomach, baby. You can feel that I've got another kid in there. And he goes, oh, really? In the womb, Tara goes...
Would have been perfect, but no. So finally he gets the idea to go to Anthony's Antiques. He's like 5 or 7 at this point. And they're closed for vacations. Like, oh, well, shit. I'm going to be like a baby the next time I'm here. That's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
And he tries to get in by throwing a brick through the window, but the dad comes in. It's like, kid, what the fuck you doing?
Yeah, because the antique store is just down the road from the dad's work.
Yeah. So, and then the next time he's in kindergarten and he's playing with Mona and she goads him into climbing a tree and he's like, hey, isn't this the year I broke my arm? And then he falls off the tree.
Breaks his arm.
Yes. And now he's a baby. He's a cute little baby.
Literally 1.
Yeah. And there's a scene where the mum's changing his diaper and it's weird and I didn't want it in there, but we got it.
And the cliffhanger is like, oh no, she's about to change my nappy. And the next chapter starts, he's just like, I don't want to talk about it. He's just like, I want to ignore that it happened.
And then the parents like, hey, let's go to that antique store. And the baby's like, yes, take me to antique store.
I want to quickly add in his internal monologues now, because he can't fucking talk.
No.
He's terrified about what happens the next time he wakes up.
Tara doesn't exist anymore.
Tara doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So he's just like, what happens when I go to sleep? Do I just stop existing after that? If time's going backwards, I cannot.
It's such an interesting, like, stakes.
It's huge. It's the highest stakes we've had.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, he's going to, like, he's not going to die, he's going to stop existing.
Yeah.
Because time's moving backwards.
Yeah. So they get to the antique store, and we get this really intense scene of, like, the parents talking to Anthony, and he's, like, got to push the chair up to the clock.
Baby's moving stuff.
And he's got to climb up the chair, and it's like, oh, the bird's already been out, like, 5 times. It's only going to be out one more time. And he gets the bird, and he turns the time dial back to the right year.
Yeah, it goes the right way around.
And then the dad grabs him, and all of a sudden, it all goes white, and it's his 12th birthday again. And he goes downstairs to check out his new bike, but Tara's not there to ruin it. And he's like, huh, where's Tara? Hey, Michael, is Tara an imaginary friend of yours? Got a new friend, I see, and it's really fucking weird. He has a really good birthday, and Mona confesses her feelings to Michael, so things are good. And then the clock finally comes in, and Michael has a look at it. He finds out what the defect is. The year Tara was born is not on the dial, so she just never got born. And Michael's like, well, I could go back and fix that.
One day.
Yeah. And that is the Cuckoo Cockadoo.
Super fucking weird book. I was not expecting it
No.
to be about that.
Yeah.
It's just so
It was my
weird.
favorite as a kid.
Yeah,
and honestly,
right.
I don't stand by it as that it's my favorite, but it's still a really good book.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
going on the board.
Yeah, it's going on the board.
But like, weird.
I think they're both going on the board.
Probably.
Yeah.
We've got some trash at the bottom
Yeah.
of the board, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just like, you could have told me ahead of time that's what that book was about.
Yeah.
Would not have believed you.
Yeah.
So weird.
Like, he took the concept of, like, how do I make Cuckoo Clock scary? What if it just made time go backwards?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's so fucking
Yeah.
weird. I don't even know how much there is to say about it. The book speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Everything about it is so weird. As time moves backwards and he starts worrying about losing his own existence, it gets a little bit scary. And you're just like, yeah, what the fuck does happen? This is weird. And then it's like it gets harder and harder for him to do these things because he's 4, he's 1. He's literally 1. He's a little baby when he has to fix this stuff.
It is a bit of a Deus Ex Machina that literally the last chance he has is a trip to the antique store.
Yeah, yeah. But we will allow it.
Yeah.
It's fine. I can live with a little bit of a Deus Ex Machina and a Goosebumps
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
What I'm wondering if it was added into the TV show or if I'm just remembering things wrong. But when he twists the head,
Yeah.
does he accidentally bump the year of Tara's birth off the clock?
I can check. I know it is in the TV adaptation that happens. The dial showed the right year, the present year, the year I turned 12. No, I don't think so.
Added into
It must have been the
show.
TV adaptation.
Good job, guys. Very cool. I'm gonna quickly check my notes.
Yeah, me too.
But okay, so early into the book, because they were talking about Y2K at one point.
Oh, yeah?
At one point, something akin to Y2K stuff gets brought up. So I was thinking, oh my goodness, a Y2K Goosebumps book? I'll fucking take that. I was super excited thinking that we're going to get that kind of like Mayan calendar. Like, we didn't, but for a moment I was very excited.
Yeah, I don't think that's too big scale for
It is
something like
very
this.
big scale, but
Yeah.
But when that clock started coming in, people were talking about it at one point. I swear to God, and I was just like, "Oh my God, what's going on? What's happening, Stine?" And then something else happened. But for a moment, I was very excited.
The clock comes in at the first chapter. It's like we get right into the plot.
It does get right
That
into
is
it.
something that I quite like.
because there's so much to cover.
Yeah.
The story in this one. So
There's a lot of story. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
I think yes, this is one of Stine's home runs.
Yeah. I had one weird quote I wanted to point out. It's after the kid beats him up for taking his baseball cap.
Yes.
Let's just say my clothes didn't fit too well when Kevin got through taking me apart. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, he just got a lot of bruises, and it made him swell, and it made it hard for him to wear his clothes?
Stine, you can write in and let us know.
I don't know what
you're
that
thinking.
means, Stine. I don't know. But yeah, that's really all I had to say. It's a really solid one.
Yeah, just a real weird, unexpected
Yeah.
kind of. I was expecting Cuckoo Clock to be the super weird one that does a
Yeah.
dumb idea and doesn't do it very well, and for
Yeah.
Terra Tower to be just like this solid, good feels.
Yeah, I want more books like these where we get like the diamond in the rough. I want the unexpected ones.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Girl Who Cried Monster as well was another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the TV adaptation.
Was this one a one-parter?
Yeah, this is a one-parter, so a lot gets cut out. One of the big things I wanted to call attention to, a lot of the Tara scenes are cut out. So Tara's just like a bratty kid who makes Michael trip on his cake. I don't think I get sold on the Tara being evil as much.
Yeah, not really. It's yeah, she's just a bit of a brat. I understand why they cut it. If you could cut anything, it's that. We only really need the birthday to get an idea of how annoying Tara is.
The child acting's good. We only get like 2 extra actors from Michael. There's one where he's like 5 and there's one where he's a baby. Baby doesn't have a lot to do, but like the 5-year-old Michael's fine.
Yeah. Oh god, I've seen Home Alone.
Hair!
That's a great out of context clip.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
How about an octopus?
Look at that weird.
That was great.
There's a really weird dream sequence that I did not care for.
What? Ooh.
I don't know what's going on. You just had to adapt the book. What is this bullshit? Why? It gets worse.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It's real weird.
Super weird. I appreciate it being a one-parter instead of a two-parter.
It definitely.
I don't think it would have hit as well if you had to stretch it out and use everything.
Yeah.
Having it cut down to one part lets you focus on just how insane it is.
Because Cuckoo Clock of Doom feels more like a series of sort of like sequences.
Yeah. It's not like a overall plot, like like mystery kind of.
Yeah, like Night in Terror Tower, it's hard to cut things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't. They kept the diaper changing scene. I could have lived without that scene.
Easy laugh.
Yeah.
Weird, but easy laugh.
Yeah.
For kids at least. Yeah. So then the sequence at the end with the baby climbing up the clock.
He doesn't push a chair. He just kind of finds something to climb on.
Yeah, he's literally just climbing around the store.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I thought it was all right. Easy way to do it. We're working with a baby, so you know.
Yeah.
Amazing that you could do anything, really. I was pretty happy with it. I think the book's better.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the good books.
Yeah.
But the TV show, if you don't want to sit down and read insane children's books like we do, and you've got 20 minutes to spare, 100% watch this one. Go for a ride. It's fucking weird. Yeah, overall, not bad. Not bad. Let's
rank these.
Let's
fuckers.
rank these bitches. Yeah.
Hey, kid. You got the time?
Why would a little kid running have the time?
I am the Cuckoo Clock. I've come to life. I'm getting revenge for you.
I'm the Cuckoo Man.
I know where I want to put these.
Let me.
Okay. Okay. Alright.
Okay, and then that one goes. Okay, you're probably going to disagree with me. Where do you want to put them?
I want to put this above Dead House. I want to put that one above Horrorland.
I want to put this one below Horrorland, and I want to put that one above Horrorland.
That's way too low for this.
I don't know, because I want my top ones to be most of the scary ones.
This fucking kid almost has his existence wiped out.
You want that one above Dead House?
Yeah. I'll put that one below Horrorland, sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's better than Return of the Mummy, but I still prefer how stupid
Horrorland's
is.
Pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think there's just more going on than in Dead
Yeah,
House. I know
I'm
Dead
just
House is
trying
your
to-
baby, but
It is a little bit of my baby, isn't it?
yeah.
I just like it's the only one where shit actually happens and matters,
Yeah.
even if it's at the end of the book.
A little
at least.
kid gets her existence wiped. She's never
She
born.
deserved it too.
The dog deserved it. The dog didn't
You
deserve it.
did not
Yeah.
just say we
Yeah.
got the footage. I'll concede.
Alright, let's
I'll
do it.
allow it. So these
Deep
two are
Trouble's
gone.
out. Attack of the Mutants gone, baby.
So you know what? We only have 2 bad books to remove.
Yeah, pretty much. Hand me the bin.
Yes, that's right. My liege.
Goodbye. So long. Anyway, miss you.
Take a look at
Jared,
that.
you don't know what we're reading next month, but I'm asking you anyway. What are we reading next month?
We said Monster Blood Free.
Yeah. It came from beneath the sink!
It's God.
The fucking sponge! Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
See you next month.